What's up, and thank you for listening to the Steve and Jay Show. I am Jason Courier, and this is our Ring of Honor weekly review. Today, I am going to be reviewing the Ring of Honor episode number 314, which originally aired on September the 25th. Today is September the 27th, 2017. If you could please click subscribe down below, and don't forget to click that notification bell to receive notification when we post our new stuff. It really helps the show out when you do that. We really appreciate it very, very much. If you would like to search for us on Facebook, that seems to be the best way that most people that actually listen to us seem to communicate with us. So if you would like to search for us on Facebook, search for Steve and Jay Show. We pop up there. You can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Jay Show. You can send us an email at thesteveandjayshow@gmail.com. Also, I'm going to post, I always post all the links down below, or the information if it's not a link, down below in the information. So please give us a click and check us out if you would. Please, we appreciate it. So, on to the show. Ring of Honor number 314. And this was the Ring of Honor Rumble day today. They had one match and the Rumble. And this was also the first Ring of Honor TV after Death Before Dishonor. So, I haven't seen Death Before Dishonor yet. I'm kind of holding out for the replay to get a little cheaper before I purchase it. I'm cheap, and I didn't want to pay $35 for the pay-per-view. Gotta admit, not really into that. But I really wanted to. I was really, really, really wanting to. Anyway, I'm hoping that some of the older Ring of Honor replays are available for $7.99, and I'm hoping that eventually this gets down into that so that I could actually watch this. So $7.99 I'd do, $35 not gonna do. Anyway, I'm a WWE Network subscriber, so I haven't paid for a pay-per-view in quite a while. So I don't know why all of a sudden I've become against it, but I'm against it. Anywho, Ring of Honor number 314. Ian Riccaboni and BJ Whitmer were on commentary again, as usual. It all started out with the lights going out, and both of them kind of said, well, what's going on here? What is this? And lights came back on. There is a good-looking gal standing up at the top of the booth, and she's standing next to a very large silver box, gift box. And out comes QT Marshall, a.k.a. God's Gift. So he is back. He's made his big return from injury. And he came wrapped up in a pretty little box. He took on Josh the Goods Woods this evening. And I didn't know this, but a little fun fact about Josh the Goods Woods. Not only is he, of course, a former NXTer, but he is the real-life, for-real boyfriend of Nia Jax, which is pretty cool because Nia Jax is pretty cool. Anyway, this match was coming off of the whole thing between QT and Shane Taylor, and how he had paid Shane Taylor to basically beat the snot out of Josh the Goods Woods. And they kind of ran a little quick promo to, showing that to start this match. I really like Josh Woods. This is only the second or third time I believe I've seen him. I saw him once when he was in NXT, I believe, because he looked so familiar. But I've seen him before in Ring of Honor. I've only been watching Ring of Honor for, this is, I believe, my third month of watching now. This would be the third month, I believe. Anyway, so I haven't been watching it for very long. Josh Woods, fun little grappler to watch. He, a lot of grappler type wrestlers can tend to be a little bit boring, but Josh the Goods Woods certainly has the goods, and he's a fun fun wrestler to watch. He had a cool little springboard kick that sent QT from the apron to the outside of the ring early on in the match. Before that, he just, in being a grappler, he does kind of cool stuff where instead of, as an example, early on in the match, he landed an armbar on QT, and they weren't just on the mat and then he rolled it into an armbar. He kind of flipped over the back of QT, and as he fell over the top of him, he managed to grab a hold of the arm and land the armbar through that. So he has a cool style about him. It has a little bit different. He's got a little bit different dynamic to him, other than just being a typical grab a hold of you grappler type, throw you around and suplex you 27 times during the match type grappler wrestler. So he's got a little bit of flair to him. I liked him. Not Ric Flair, but he's got a little flair to him. You know what I mean? So they're outside of the ring. Josh goes to give a big running knee to QT, and QT ducks out of the way, and Josh Woods absolutely annihilates security guard sitting in a chair at ringside. He then sets QT in the chair and gives him the knee that he meant to give him earlier before he destroyed the security guard. He gives him a pretty cool looking suplex. He's still a suplexer, but he just does things a little bit differently. I enjoyed this match, and I enjoy his style. I just like what he does. For being a big old grappling wrestler, he's got a little style to him, and it's good stuff. He goes for a suplex onto the apron. QT reverses it and does a backdrop onto the apron, sending good old Woods reeling a bit. They came back from the break. That's what sent them to the break. They came back from the break to see a suicide dive from QT, having assumingly taken over the match after that move during the break. There's a little bit more back and forth. There's a cool running knee by Woods, insecurity by QT. Here's a cool suplex off the ropes by Woods, and he literally flips QT up over the top of him, flipping QT up head over feet down onto the mat. It was really cool. Good stuff. There eventually is a power bomb by QT, and he then goes for the pin. This is kind of another thing, like I had said about Woods with his submissions. He doesn't just grab a guy and get him in the submission. He kind of does cool stuff to get him there. And this was an example of that. Big power bomb by QT, and Woods takes the pinfall and turns it into a triangle, and then transitions from the triangle into his finishing maneuver, the knee bar, arm lock, leg lock thing that he does. Ian said the name of it. Ian Riccaboni said the name of it, and I'm kind of new, so a lot of times I've noticed that they'll blow past names of people that I don't know everybody's name yet, and I don't know the name of everybody's finish yet. So every once in a while, Ian will blow past the name of a finisher, and I won't quite catch it. I believe he called it the end of hour. I think that's what he said. I think he said the end of hour. I don't know if that's right or not. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm sure you will if I'm wrong. But anyhow, Josh locks in the submission, and QT has to tap. So Josh the Goods Woods picks up the victory. They then cut to Coleman's Pulpit, and Coleman's guest was scheduled to be the Briscoes. He had said last week that he had landed another big guest, and it was the Briscoes this time after having Frank Kazarian and Christopher Daniels on the first episode of Coleman's Pulpit. Again, now Coleman has a set, and he introduces the Briscoes, and Mark Briscoe walks on set, gives a little love to Coleman, and Coleman's kind of looking around him like, well, where's he finally says, where's Jay? And Mark goes on to explain that Jay's not in a very good spot right now, and he won't be appearing on Coleman's Pulpit. And throughout the interview, Mark's got a tie on. It's a handsome bright green tie that he's got on over his just regular old Briscoe t-shirt. And at one point, Coleman says that Jay was the reason why the Briscoes managed to win all those titles, and Mark pretty much was along for the ride. Mark says, I'm going to take my tie off now because I used to respect you, but now I don't. And says eventually that he says that Jay needs an attitude adjustment, of which Coleman says, well, you said it, I didn't say it. And Coleman, throughout the whole interview, Coleman's just poking away at Mark, poking at him with his brother, and he even pokes away at him with Bully Ray. Says that all of a sudden Bully Ray showed up, and it's Bully Ray and the Briscoes, not the Briscoes and Bully Ray, basically. So he's really, like I said, just really needling Mark throughout the whole thing and throughout this whole Coleman's Pulpit. And then we were on to the Rumble itself, the Honor Rumble, the annual Honor Rumble. And on came Cody Rhodes. And on came Cody, the American Nightmare Cody. And he still had the championship belt, and he still had on the ring, and he had the crowd kiss the ring. And so I may not have seen Death Before Dishonor, but I've got a pretty good feeling that he actually won. So I believe he survived Minoru Suzuki. And so the rules of the Honor Rumble were that they start with 2 competitors, and those 2 competitors get 2 minutes, and then from there on out, every minute, another competitor is introduced until they go through all 20 competitors. You get eliminated. The only way you're eliminated is by being thrown over the top ropes and both feet touching the floor. Typical Rumble rule. Cool little thing where they get those guys in there rapid fire. It added a pretty neat little dynamic. It was the first 2 started out, Jay White and from the Tempura Boyz show started out, and it was kind of cool the way how quickly the next competitor came through after the third guy came. So in other words, we'll just start here. The Tempura Boy show, he started out, the 2, Jay White and he were both kind of doing the clappy thing and let's pump up the crowd, and Show tried to sneak behind Jay White and get himself in a quick elimination and shove Jay over the top rope. Jay kind of put his hands out like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be boys kind of thing, because apparently they came through the ranks together and are training partners. Show then apologizes profusely to Jay White. He even takes it to the point where he kneels down and kisses his boot. Then shortly after that, he again tries to sneak in another elimination on Jay White. The third competitor to enter the Rumble was Punishment Martinez. And, of course, from Death Before Dishonor, Punishment Martinez and Jay White have a little thing going. So Punishment comes right in, and first thing he does, boom, he just attacks Jay White. This is where it kind of really picked up, is what I'm talking about in how quickly Jonathan Gresham, who's one of my favorites, he was the fourth competitor to come in, and it seemed like he came in almost as soon as Martinez came in. It just was super rapid fire. Once that third guy hit, it was boom, 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 and they're just throwing guys in there. So Jonathan Gresham comes out. He goes right after Punishment Martinez, and the three that are in the ring, Show, Gresham, and Jay White, all three gang up on Punishment Martinez, trying to get the big guy out. Rhett Titus, though, comes in. Again, it's rapid fire, man, so he came in pretty quickly. So Rhett Titus was the next one to come in. He came flying in, and as he's coming in, like literally as it's the 3, 2, 1, and here's Rhett Titus's music, Show's being eliminated by Jonathan Gresham. Frank Kazarian then is the Frankie Kazarian is then, I don't know why we're tight, so I call him Frank, you know. Frankie Kazarian comes out as the sixth competitor in the Honor Rumble. His nickname, I love his nickname, the Heavy Metal Rebel. I love that. That's awesome. It's good stuff. As he's coming out, Cody is doing the golf clap, which I believe it was Ian drew attention to the fact that he was golf clapping, and Cody called it, he said, that's my nostalgia pop. So, again, that magical word of nostalgia with Cody, that seems to be one of his favorites. So he's giving him the nostalgia pop, not the golf clap. Will Farrara and Tempura Boy Yo then joined the fracas during the break. I'm not sure who was 8 and who was 9, or sorry, who was 7 and who was 8. If it was, I believe it was 7 being Farrara and 8 being Yo, but I'm not sure about that because it all happened during the break. Alex Shelley, shortly after the break, came back from the Motor City Machine Guns, was the 9th entrance into the Rumble. As he's coming in, Punishment Martinez is pretty much cleaning house. He lays out Gresham, takes out Gresham, eliminates Gresham, then eliminates Jay White shortly afterwards. Rhett Titus, then just after Punishment Martinez eliminated Gresham and Jay White, which I was pretty upset over both those guys. I like both those guys, and I didn't want to see either one of them eliminated, let alone so quickly. Rhett Titus was then eliminated by Alex Shelley, so the big dog's gone. The 10th competitor to enter the ring was Silas Young, who quickly attacked Farrara. Don't know if they've got some sort of a beef, but he seemed to go right after him, and he eliminated Will Farrara pretty quickly and easily. He then turned his attention, I believe, to Punishment, just like everybody else did. The 11th competitor was a Turn Back the Clocker. Apparently, he is a longtime tag teamer in Ring of Honor. Sal Rinauro, I believe was his name. Sal Rinauro. Cody actually, at some point, he's again on commentary, and he says, wait a minute, you're going to have to fill me in. Who the hell's Sal? And they then went on to explain that Sal has been a former tag team champion in Ring of Honor and this and that. I've never heard of the man. He looked a little like he hasn't seen the ring for a while. I don't know. Anyway, he comes in with, it had a pretty decent little pop. He had a little, he's doing the thumbs up thing. He tries to, I believe, shake the hand of Punishment Martinez at one point. Everybody gangs up. I'm sorry, that's when he got eliminated. Anyway, that wasn't yet. Anyway, everybody gangs up then on Punishment Martinez. As Sal's being introduced, literally as Sal's coming down the ramp, the whole field is taking out Punishment Martinez, and they get him over the rope and eliminate him. The whole field does. Shane Taylor, that's who eventually eliminates old Sal, not Punishment. But Shane Taylor was the 12th entrance into the Rumble, and he quickly came in and cleaned house. He took out Silas and Alex Shelley. The two of them were near the ropes, and Taylor came and just ran up to him and flipped both of them over the top. Pretty easy elimination for him. He then turns to Sal, who, that's when Sal extends the hand and wants to shake hands with Shane Taylor, who quickly grabs him and eliminates him, throws him over the rope. He then turns his attention to Yo from the Tempura Boyz, and Gorilla presses his ass out of the ring real quick. Frankie and Shane are the only two left in the ring. Cody then leaves the commentary booth and goes to ringside and slips Shane a few bucks. Says there's more where that came from. Frankie is kind of avoiding, I would say, Shane Taylor. Not completely, but pretty much, yeah, he was avoiding him. Yeah. Flip Gordon is then introduced as the 13th competitor, and he goes right after Taylor. Taylor is pretty much beating the snot out of Flip Gordon, and Frankie Kazarian is walking along the outside of things and kind of pointing at Flip Gordon, doing the, go ahead and get him. So he's kind of directing traffic out there. The 14th competitor, one of my favorites, is Jay Lethal. He comes in and goes right after Taylor, just like everybody else does. You got to go after the big guy. War Machine's Hansen then is the next competitor to enter. Again, 1 minute in between, and those guys are coming out rapid fire. It's pretty cool. Hansen was doing his running splash thing where he runs from corner to corner, one after another, and yelling the whole way. And Frankie Kazarian is kind of running from the opposite turnbuckle to the opposite turnbuckle to kind of avoid being the victim of the next splash. What he did in this whole thing was pretty cool. Taylor then intercepts one of the many running splashes to the corner and pretty much levels Hansen with a brutal clothesline. Chris Sabin is then the 16th competitor to be introduced from the Motor City Machine Guns. Cody then at one point says that that you can have a drinking game to how many times he says "wait a minute" during the match, during his commentary, and kind of is needling Ian for not basically keeping him in line and keeping him from saying "wait a minute" 97 times. And he makes a joke that you could have, that those at home watching can play a drinking game and tip it back every time Cody says "wait a minute." Number 17 coming into the ring was Bully Ray, one of my personal favorites again. Bully, again, goes right after Taylor. Go for the big guy. And then he kind of works his way through the rest of the field. He eventually gets, I think, caught up with Hansen, and Hansen gets the better of him in the corner, I believe. Speaking of War Machine, number 18 competitor to come in was Raymond Rowe. So he came in, and when he got in there, War Machine kind of teamed up, of course, and did a little house cleaning. The 19th competitor, getting close to the end here. The 19th competitor was Mark Briscoe, and, of course, the sensei of Redneck Kung Fu, one of my personal favorites. I love that. It's so cool. His nickname, Cody was making fun of his nickname being the Sussex County Chicken, and how could he be nicknamed the Chicken? He cleans house a little bit and does his thing, and with his series of chops, and he's chopping the heck out of everyone, and then he does his little chicken strut. He then, though, gets quickly eliminated by both members of War Machine. So he didn't last very long. He came in, did his chops, did his chicken, and got eliminated. The lights then go out, and we've got number 20. And as the lights are out, it was pretty cool. Cody's doing the what's going on here, who's this? Ian and BJ are both doing the same thing. Well, who is this? They show on the big screen. They show kind of snow falling, and the music's going, and they're, again, doing the who is this? And boom, on the screen pops up the word Glacier, and crowd has the big pop. The announcers have the big pop. Everybody's hooting and hollering and happy, and Glacier comes in there, and he cleans house a little bit. Cody tells a story about when he was 15 years old and was refereeing a match that Glacier was in, which is pretty cool. It would have been pretty cool if they would have somehow had Glacier get the upset and then face Cody. That would have been kind of neat. I'm sure Glacier is probably done doing this and had zero interest in that, but they probably were lucky to talk him into doing this. But anyway, no need to be greedy, right? War Machine then tags up, and again, they did a lot of damage in this one because they eliminated a big threat in Shane Taylor. Chris Sabin then was eliminated by War Machine. Bully Ray then eliminated Glacier. Crowd just absolutely hated it. You would have thought they were going to riot. So I don't blame him for not wanting to be in there for very long, but he wasn't in there for very long. Bully Ray eliminated him pretty quickly, and the crowd didn't like it. I didn't like it. Anyway. Bully Ray kind of went on a little bit of a run there after he had eliminated Glacier. He was kind of fighting with War Machine and ended up flipping, I believe it was Hansen was the first one that he eliminated up over the top of him out of the ring. Raymond Rowe then came after Bully Ray, and he did the same to Raymond Rowe, flipping him up over his head, over the ropes and outside of the ring, eliminating both members of War Machine back to back. Boom, boom. The final four then were Flip Gordon, Jay Lethal, Bully Ray, and Frank Kazarian. Pretty sweet final four. Flip then attacked Bully, and Jay Lethal and Frank Kazarian kind of went at it. Flip was getting the better of Bully Ray and ended up, Bully almost eliminated him. Flip ended up on the apron, on the outside apron. He was setting up Bully Ray for a springboard off the top rope, and as he hopped up to the top, rope to springboard off. Frank Kazarian snuck in and gave him an old kick and sent Flip Gordon tumbling outside and was then eliminated by Kaz. So Bully Ray, Jay Lethal, and Kazarian are the only three left. Bully Ray and Jay Lethal ended up doing the "what's up" thing to Kazarian. I don't know why he's still doing that. Anyway, I've never been a big fan of that move. Why you would want to headbutt another man's genitalia, I don't quite understand. But anyhow, they did the "what's up" thing. Kazarian was down. Jay Lethal and Bully Ray are kind of standing in the middle of the ring looking at each other, and Bully Ray does the double chest slap and yells, "Jay!" And he's, of course, going to yell, "Jay, get the tables." But then as he yells, "Jay," just as he yells, "Jay," Kazarian kind of pulls Jay Lethal from behind. Lethal then turns to Kazarian. Oh, and then sorry, had a little brain lock there. Then Kazarian pulls Jay Lethal. He spins around. He gets in between. Kaz gets in between Jay Lethal and Bully Ray. Jay Lethal then goes for a super kick, and instead of hitting Frank Kazarian, he hits Bully Ray. Bully Ray then gets eliminated by Kazarian. So it's down to Frankie Kazarian and Jay Lethal. As Kaz is eliminating Bully Ray, they had kind of a cool little moment where Jay Lethal then goes over and thinks that he flips Kazarian up over the ropes and eliminates him, but he grabs the ropes and holds on. He turns his back and he's doing the yeah, I won thing, and then he turns around and realizes that he hasn't won yet and that Kazarian wasn't eliminated and he is still in this. As the two are going at it, good old Christopher Daniels decides to stick his nose in things, and he comes down the ramp. As he's coming down the ramp, the official who's on the outside of the ring is kind of shaking his hand at him, telling him, you can't be here, kind of thing. He has the official distracted, and in the ring, Jay Lethal then throws Frankie Kazarian up over the top rope and shoulda, woulda, coulda eliminated him if the official had seen it. Kazarian then kind of rolls his way back into the ring. Jay Lethal then turns to the official and is saying, "Hey, I just eliminated him." Christopher Daniels gets up on the apron, and Jay eventually calls for the lethal injection. He does the lethal injection thing. It's broken up when Christopher Daniels gets up on the apron. Jay Lethal then drops a lethal injection on Christopher Daniels, and as he's pumped up from dropping the lethal injection on Daniels, Kaz then comes behind and eliminates Jay Lethal. So Frankie Kazarian wins the Rumble. So he is now the number one contender and will take on Cody, the American Nightmare, next week for the Ring of Honor Championship. I wouldn't be surprised to see Christopher Daniels getting involved in that one, too. In fact, I pretty much expect it. It's a nice little rivalry that he's got going on there with Cody, and the rivalry continues. I would not be surprised to see Kazarian wearing that belt after next week. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed Ring of Honor this week. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was a good Ring of Honor. I like the the Rumble type format, though. I like the rapid fire thing that they had going on. I kind of wish they would have covered a little bit more of what happened at Death Before Dishonor, but I get that too. They want you to buy the replay. So anyway, again, thank you guys for listening. If you could please click subscribe down below, and don't forget to click that notification bell to receive notification when we post our new stuff. You can shoot us an email, thesteveandjshow@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @SteveandJShow. And again, probably our most popular way to get a hold of us and connect with us seems to be Facebook. If you search for Steve and J Show, we pop up on there too. So give us a howdy, if you would, please. We always appreciate hearing from people. I mean, we've met a lot of really, really cool folks. A lot of cool people, a lot of cool wrestlers. We've met a lot of really cool people here over the last couple of months, so it's been a cool ride. Anyway, thank you guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Again, please click subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks. Good night.